You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
All right. Take two, you patient motherfuckers. Oh, can you open up a show with motherfuckers? I mean, if you're Samuel L. Jackson, you open up every sentence with motherfuckers. So, no FCC here, so fucking motherfuckers, let's get into it. Hopefully y'all can hear me this time. YouTube, Facebook, all those other places. Hopefully we're on and popping. I will get the text line, the social media going, and we'll make sure we're on. But we should be back, and we're going to condense this show and try to get it in 90 minutes. Holy crap, NHL, NBA, playoffs, play-ins, regular seasons all at the same time. I don't even know what's going on. It's pure chaos up in this mother. So, let's try to make sense of it all in 90 minutes of pure chaos. Is that even possible to make sense out of chaos? Well, if it is, we'll do it here at DSR2. So without further ado, let's do the do that we do at DSR2. I am Scrappy, and here is your host, Johnny the Moose.
Hi, we're back here after our technical difficulties here, so we're going to continue on with the greatest show on internet radio. Or maybe just a couple of lunatics out here.
Yeah, a couple of idiots with a laptop and a microphone.
That's right. So getting on there, we were joking about making fun of the Grizzlies and San Antonio. Actually, now it's turned into actually a little better game. It's 47-40 with 5 minutes left in the second quarter there. So, as we said, we were talking earlier about the Wizards and the Celtics. Basically, Wizards had got into the there as a 7th seed and actually not had to play Philadelphia in the first round.
I love
it. Didn't matter because if you would have won, you would have had to play Brooklyn right off the bat. So,
well, I love me some Westbrook, but he just, when it comes down to playoff time, he just seems to underachieve, in my opinion. Yeah. Is that just me? Am I projecting something? The only one I'd say that
underachieve, there's two guys I would say that probably underachieve more in the playoffs than Westbrook, and that is Paul George and Chris Paul.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, I agree with that aspect of it, but I mean, I guess my point would be, okay, cool. Looks like we're on and popping. Cool, guys. Good deal. All right. I had a software update issue, and it went all haywire. But yeah, I think, no, Westbrook still got a double-double. Like, let's not get it twisted.
No.
But for Westbrook standards, it just feels like when they need it the most, he doesn't show up with those crazy, crazy games. And that would be nitpicking his game because he's going to go down as one of the best at that position. So I guess I'm just nitpicking it, but it just feels like it turns that way to me, you know. I mean, think about it. Didn't we have him and Harden and Durant all on a team together
to get to the finals?
And that, I mean, how do you not keep that together? How do you not win a championship with that team?
Not enough balls to go around.
Yeah, something to do with balls.
The balls. He said balls. So yeah, whereas we counted out the Celtics, we're like they're toast. All of a sudden, Jason Tatum said no.
Well, he went. It's just, but come on, I want consistency.
Yeah, because that's a problem with. I mean, with Boston's soft, plain and simple. They're Charmin soft.
Yeah.
And we actually got a Kemba Walker sighting. He had 29 points last night and on there. So, but yeah, they sit with the 70-year-old knees. But yeah, trust me, Boston is not going far in the playoffs.
No.
You get the win, great. You end up playing the number 2 seed, well, great. 5 games later, you're going to be gone. I'm giving them 1.
Yeah, no, I
don't even know if they'll get 1.
No, I'm with you. It's but I mean, I have to admit, when it comes to the play-in game scenario, it did make the end of the regular season more interesting, right? Because these cats are trying to fight for positioning a little bit more, and so I don't know. And you guys can get in on the questions through or get in through social media. And yes, of course, Canada Mike, we will get into the no here in the D in a minute, but in a little bit here, but where was I going? We were talking about
The play-in.
The play-in. I liked it just because it gave you, people were battling and fighting to get into position here, and then I guess it's only just an extra game, and the loser plays a winner or plays a loser in winner. It's kind of goofy.
The loser
it's kind of
7-8
convoluted.
plays the winner of 9-10.
Yeah, it's a little goofy and convoluted, but I mean, it did make the end of the regular season less of a let's sit everybody and just get through these last 6 games, and 10 games, whatever, and or play for positioning, and I like that aspect of it. So on that, it's pretty good, but I don't know. And you guys can get in on it. What do you think, if they should keep that around or not? What was the plan with that? This was just they're just doing it for the bubble, and then this year they just decided to do it, right?
Yeah, because they thought it was a pretty good response, and most of the people liked it. I mean, LeBron last year didn't have any problem with it. He thought it was cool and everything, but
because he wasn't in it.
But now he's affected by it, and he's in it. I don't like this. Well,
yeah, whoever this is stupid. He got all indignant about it.
That's the reason why I'm rooting for Golden State to win this one.
Well,
I don't think they're going to.
No,
but I want them to.
Right, and these are the reasons why I don't dig LeBron, guys. When we sit here and I get the LeBron hater email all the fucking time, when we get onto the GOAT conversation, or I kind of kill him. LeBron is a freak athlete. We've had this conversation. He's a great player. He's going to go down as one of the greatest of all time, but he's not the greatest at his position, not the greatest on that, even on his team history. I just think the thing that really turns me off about him is that fucking attitude.
Yeah.
Like that kind of it's like, oh, I think it's great. It adds a little something to the game, because it doesn't affect me because I'm the fucking 2 seed or the 1 seed. Now I'm at the bottom of the feeding and I could get bumped out of the playoffs in one game. And now, all indignant in media, I'm going to go out of my way to say how stupid it is and who came up with this dumbass idea. Oh, you mean the dumbass idea you liked 6 months ago?
Right.
I mean, shut the fuck up. Dude, and I don't want to hear it because y'all been resting.
Right.
That's why you guys are bad. How many games did y'all miss?
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm not hearing that. So
no, enough's enough on it because it's all about him and him and him, and then it's like when, oh my God, something. Are we gonna get knocked out? Well, dude, yeah.
You could. You very well could.
The reason you won the fire last year and won it because you're in a bubble. You had 3 months off.
Right.
So you got all healthy.
Well, and they're resting, but they can't stay healthy.
No.
And that's going to be the key. If they could stay healthy, then
we'll see what happens.
Then they're in business. But if they can't stay healthy, the Lakers are going to have issues.
Yeah, he just rolled his ankle on Sunday, so we'll see how healthy he is today. I want Steph to light him up. You go ahead and double team me. I'll just sit there across the half court line and poof, hit nothing but net. Okay, stop me. What? You're going to foul me? Good. I'll go to the line and take my 3 shots.
All right.
All day long, and I'm going to make every one of them. So when I go to and I'm like 30 for 30 from free throw line, that's your fault.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, that's what I said. Is I don't think they're going to the Lakers. I mean, I don't think Golden State's going to win, but I want them to.
I do too.
I so want them to win.
I do
and
too.
I want whoever wins the Memphis and Spurs thing. I want them to beat the Lakers too, because I don't want the Lakers to get into this.
That's the way I feel about it.
It's just to shut his whiny ass up.
It's just one of those things. It's been a wild and crazy year as far as like all the teams and topsy-turvy and a different look. And I'm all right with doing a full-on different look, right? We can go full-on, no LeBron, totally different teams in it. Like, I'm all right with it. Like, I don't mind seeing something a little bit different than what we've been seeing, because it is. Let's be real about the NBA. It's the haves and the have-nots.
Yeah.
And it's the same X amount of teams in it every time. And it's not even the same X amount of teams. It's the same players dominating the league wherever they move around to. It's the same 8 players dominating the whole fucking league. And so, in the end, I don't mind that if some of those guys get bumped so that I can see some new blood. Right. I've been loving the Damian Lillard experiment. Yes. I mean, who doesn't like watching Steph Curry and Trae Young?
Right.
I mean,
who doesn't like watching the Jokic basically get triple doubles too at center?
Right.
Dude, I love seeing a 7-footer getting 10 dimes.
Right.
I haven't seen that, I mean, forever.
And we've only, in Luka.
Yes.
I mean,
How
let's
do you not like Luka?
I want to see the young talent. Like, I get it. I told you. I've said it a million and a zillion times. LeBron is a freak athlete. He could play tight end in the NFL.
Right.
He's a beast. But, like, I'm done. I'm over it.
Right. You had your time. Now.
Yeah, it's cool. I want to see.
Now for the next generation to come up.
So I just want to see something a little bit fresh, a little bit different.
You get the clowns out there to think the Lakers, all the Lakers, if they get healthy, can win it all.
They can.
They can. But again, I don't know if even if you get the Lakers all healthy and Brooklyn all healthy, I don't see the Lakers beating Brooklyn because they don't have the damn depth.
No, if you're talking about like the full roster, both teams ready to go,
fully healthy.
Yeah, there's no way.
No issues whatsoever.
It's Brooklyn to me.
Brooklyn.
Yeah.
3 versus 2 is going to win every time.
Yeah. Well, and to me, LeBron has never been a guy that carries. Now, he does carry, but I don't want to say he's not the one that carries, but think about it in this respect. There's always somebody one of his partners has got to get his back for one game.
Right.
Okay. And I don't know that the Browns got it. You know what I'm saying? And so LeBron can only win so many games on his own. And at some point, he needs somebody to win one for him.
Right.
Like when they won in Cleveland is because Kyrie won a game for him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
They won last year because the Browns won him a game on it.
Right.
That was against Miami on it. This is not
bubble.
Against Brooklyn.
Right.
I mean, Miami was a great story and everything, but they don't have the talent that Brooklyn has.
Right.
Dude,
even if it's
good as the Brow is, he can't cover Durant defensively on there because
No.
Durant, again, is the most freakish offensive player on it. Because, dude, he's a 7-footer that can shoot threes like nothing to it, and he can play the post, and he can do everything.
If LeBron can only guard one of the other two guys if they're all healthy. He can't guard Kyrie and fucking Harden.
No.
And there's nobody else to guard Harden.
Right.
Who else could even come close to guarding Harden? So if you put the Brow on Durant and you've got LeBron on Harden, because we've already proven this is going to be about defense this year. I mean, New York has gone from nothing to, and that's what we should be talking about, and we'll get into it. New York went from not making the playoffs to a 4 seed because of the way they're playing their defense. The Boston Celtics won that game, was led by their defense.
Right.
So defense is still winning games out there, and I think in the end it'll be the same kind of thing. So how are you going to match up defensively in a finals if you get there against Brooklyn? Harden is going to wear LeBron out. He's not going to be able to perform offensively if his defensive duties are fucking James Harden. I mean, James Harden's going to wear you out. And now you got to go and perform on the offensive side? And you expect the Brown to not have the same issue guarding Durant?
Yeah.
And then who's got Kyrie, who just, by the way, happened to win you a pretty important game, LeBron?
Yeah.
With a key shot.
Kyrie,
and he's got sick-ass handles, and nobody can stay with him.
Right. I don't see anybody being able to.
So, to me, when it comes down to that, yes. But we talk about ability, and the best ability is availability. And are all these guys going to be available? And who gets hurt and what happens? To be honest with you, look at how many games LeBron and AD sat out.
Right.
So they should have their legs under them.
I mean, you're going to have Dennis Schroeder guard Kyrie.
You're right.
Serious.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't know. So yeah, but it's a different look this year, and anything could happen because in the East there's a few teams.
Oh yeah.
So there's no guarantee that Brooklyn gets out. Now I think they will, but there's no guarantee. I mean, it's not going to be easy if they got to deal with Philly or Milwaukee.
No.
So.
And again, as we said, defense carries over on it. So again, I mean, the Knicks could be a freaking nightmare.
Nobody wants to play with the Knicks.
Because defense carries over no matter what.
Yep.
Regular season, postseason. You play defense in the postseason, you can go for it. How did Miami get to it last year? Defense.
Well, I feel the Knicks are this year's Miami.
Yes.
Where they could really make a run here and surprise people. And once again, that's why Tibbs gets our coach of the year.
Oh yeah.
And we were talking about it off air while we were waiting for shit to get ready here, and like your boy in Utah is maybe maybe the only one that you could even bring up in the conversation.
Might be the only one, but I don't know if he'll get second place votes on there.
But
I don't know if anybody. Again, if anything,
like I
if
said,
anybody gets a
Tibbs.
unanimous choice on there, Tibbs has to get coach of the year because that team was slated to be like in the top 5 lottery picks,
right?
And now they're the 4th seed.
I would say now they're the top 5 in the East.
Yes,
yeah,
they're 10 games above 500.
Yeah.
And again, they have the best defense in the damn league. And it's not even close.
Right.
I think the next team is still like 4 points worse than they are. Again, defense carries.
Yeah.
Julius Randle will be your most improved player of the year on there. I mean, this is...
Yeah.
As much as we gripe about the ownership of the Knicks, and again, rightfully so, because they deserve it.
Well, this is the thing. If my man just stays out the fucking way and lets Thibs do his thing, I think you're good.
And the players love him.
Oh, dude, everywhere he goes. It's always been like that.
The only place around there was Minnesota because they don't know what the hell.
No, dude, Minnesota is a mess. It has nothing to do.
It's always been a mess.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They've been a mess.
They ran Kevin Durant out of there.
Yes. Who only won an MVP and got you to the number 1 seed in the West. The problem is you went against the Lakers.
It's unbelievable to me. So, yeah, Minnesota's, I don't even want to go there. But, yeah, so Tibbs has been great everywhere he goes. Everybody loves him as far as players go. And, sometimes you just need a different voice and things don't work out when you're in a certain place. But it's working out real well for him right now. So, but I've always liked Tibbs. I always thought he was good. Where was he at? Wasn't he in Chicago?
Yeah,
and he did. Yeah,
he
and
had
he killed
Derrick
it with. Yeah,
Derrick Rose there. Derrick Rose won an MVP when Tibbs was the coach.
Yep. They had Joakim Noah over there.
Yes.
Yep.
Because Derrick Rose was the youngest MVP in the league at 22.
Yep.
Dude, Derrick Rose when he came out of
that was a scrap. That team was just like this team: scrappy defense.
Yes.
Doing all the dirty work.
They trade for him halfway through the season to get back.
Derrick Rose, yeah.
Trust me, Derrick Rose probably loves Tibbs on there. So
yeah.
Probably, again, there's a better leadership thing. Trust me.
Yeah.
Buy into it.
Yeah. Well, and it's one of those things where this guy believes in me even after all this stuff, and they've already got a good relationship from prior, and it's just good all the way around, So I like those kind of hires or those kind of acquisitions for teams. I think that was a good pickup for them to bring Rose in and stuff like that. He's not going to fit everywhere else for everybody's thing, but it works there, and I like it. So that's another good one too, as far as the Knicks go and that team and everything. So we'll see. Like I said, I don't think anybody wants to meet them in the playoffs because they are going to be a tough out. Like I said, even if you beat them. Even if you win in 4 or 5 games,
it's gonna be a tough.
You're gonna know you were in a game.
4 to 5 are gonna feel like 7.
Yeah, I feel like you're gonna know you were in a fucking scrap. That's just the way they do it. And every team that Tibbs coached, with like you said, with the exception of one of that Minnesota team, has always been like that. It's just how it is. So I really love what he's doing over there, and I'm excited to see what's going on, even though I'm not a Knicks fan and I'm not going to get all Spike Lee. I am interested to see how they do stuff. The only team I'm going to be rooting for is more about rooting against, and we already had that conversation just a minute ago. Yeah, so.
But yeah, I mean, I think this is the year. I think this looks down there. This could be the year the East wins it on there. I mean,
I'd like to see some dominance.
You know what? I see some. Between the two conferences, a little bit more parity on there between the top.
We were talking about that last year or whatever. I mean, I know the bubble was a little weird, so technically last year, but I mean the year before even we were talking about that. The season before, I'm like, there's a little bit more parity, and I thought it would get lopsided again, but no, with Brooklyn, recharging and all that.
Brooklyn and Philly and Milwaukee, you don't know what to get out of Milwaukee. Then you got the Knicks and Atlanta.
Yeah, well, the Knicks once again, the surprise, just like Miami was last year,
right.
And that's all you need, right? You just need, at least in the Eastern Conference, you just need one team to kind of stand up and say, okay, we're and do well. And the Knicks, like I said, Miami last year, the Knicks this year. That's what the NFL gets, right? Where you have the 10-6 or 6-10, and every year there's 6 new playoff teams or whatever because you got some of these teams rolling in, and that's kind of what you need. If you just had 1 or 2 teams in each conference that kind of bounced in and out, making the playoffs, or just overachieving, things like that. You're right. It adds parity to the game. I think it's more interesting. It's more fun. It's more dynamic. It makes the matchups feel a little bit different. And then if you mix that in with this play-in situation and you enjoy what they did with the end of the season here and all that, then I think basketball fans should be, pretty stoked. But I don't know. I'm not sure how you guys are feeling.
Yeah, I mean, this will be a year too, because like out west, I know we got Utah as the number 1 seed. You got Phoenix as the 2. Clippers at the 3 seed. I don't know what to get out of the Clippers because last year the Clippers in the bubble looked terrible.
Well, my whole thing with the Clippers are they feel like, okay, so what was I saying about Westbrook where I just feels like they just don't, not that they play bad, not that he plays bad, he just, for him, seems to not play his best at the most crucial times. And that's one of these teams where they'll do their thing, they'll play their thing, and then at the most crucial time, they'll just not play their best. And that'll be enough to get beat when you're in a playoff situation in a 7-game series with other good teams. So they feel like that team to me where it's like, yeah, okay, they'll get through the first round, and then who knows? They get popped at any time after that. And then even then, if someone told me they got popped in the first round, I'd be like, it's the Clippers. You want to blame that one on Doc?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just feels like no matter who's in there, it's
just
the same old thing.
What's the constant? The name on the front of the jersey.
It's so weird, man.
Because you can't even say, "Oh, it's the ownership," because you got new ownership.
Well, this is what blows me away with all the good vibes and all the positive things going on for the change of the regime and the fortunes of the team and getting players and it looked like they were going to be a playoff, and they still, and it's like they just can't seem to quite get out of the quicksand type thing. It's like, oh yeah, you're out, no problem. Then you look back, well, come on, are you coming? Well, I think I'm still kind of stuck.
Yeah.
And it's like, well,
because you're the Clippers.
Yeah, it's just so weird, and I've never seen anything like it. I'm trying to equate it to another team and another sport maybe, and I just, because they're not horrible. It's not like the Lions where they've never ever been there and they'll never ever be good, but it's also not a team.
There are a couple teams in there that just find a way to lose.
Yeah, it's
like
like
matters on it. The Clippers are one of them. Sacramento in the day when they had Weber was just another one.
Sure.
Granted,
Sacramento used to be like
the whole when they lost Game 6 under the Lakers, and there could have been another story too, because again there was some questionable call.
Oh, without a doubt, without a doubt.
And again, so you go,
right.
on it, but it's like the Kings always could never win.
Well, yeah, remember Vlade Divac and all those days?
Vlade basically trading guys away. Oh yeah, give me a carton of smoke, sure, you can take my.
Well, when he was playing there, when he was playing there, they
the
would
only
like.
Player we know is sitting there on the bench there, lighting up a smart.
It's like, dude, is this guy ever going away? Like he just never left. I'm like. They start talking about him again. Like he's still around. Oh yeah, like he's an executive.
He had forever with the Lakers. Then they traded. He was part of the trade. So the Charlotte, because they get Kobe, goes to Charlotte, plays forever there. Then he goes to the Sacramento.
Yeah.
I swear to God, he played like 30 years.
I know.
And then he was a general manager. Like, what the hell? The guy can't even speak English.
Right. Well, how does he keep doing all this stuff?
Yeah. What? You want my number 1 pick? Yeah, here. What? You give me 2 cartons of smokes? Oh, sure.
Well, he's like the kid that you'd like, yeah, you can come over with your baseball cards, buddy. Yeah, we can make some trades. Come on over. Come on over. Yeah, this is a fair trade. How about you trade me this?
This one worth? No, that's not worth anything. You should just.
Yeah, you should trade me that one for this one. This one here, this one has a chance to be worth something. Huh? Who the hell is this? I can't even spell this name. So yeah, it's just that's what I feel like. I just feel like Vladdy's just there so they can run him for his shit. They can Debo him for his players. Canada, Mikey, it could be worse, boys. You could be a Raptors fan.
Yeah, but you won a title at least in the last 5 years.
I was like, you're talking to Pistons fans. What's wrong with you, sir?
Dude, we haven't basically won since 2004. You won like 3 years ago.
I mean, we're selling our buttholes for ping pong balls right now, and they don't even do ping pong balls in the fucking lottery.
And last year, you were like, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
You beat Golden State.
Yeah. Yep. You had Kawhi.
You had
came
Kawhi.
in.
He got you a red title, and
Yep.
be happy.
Yep.
I mean, I can understand it. If you're going to relate to another sport, you just say, oh, yeah, you could be a Maple Leafs fan. No, I understand that one because
Yeah.
you haven't won in longest Scrappy's been alive. You know, you haven't won anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I was 2.
Yeah.
And, of course, if you talk to any Maple Leaf fan, they've won every damn Stanley Cup since 1967.
Yeah, that's all you. You know, it's funny you say that because growing up, that's what it always felt like, and I'm like, and then when you were telling me that we were talking about it, and I started thinking, I'm like, yeah, they'd never won when I was growing up or anything. I'm like, they've never done anything. I mean, I know I was more of a Red Wings fan, but I was a hockey fan for a long time. When I was young, I loved hockey from like 6 years old till I was like, I don't know. I got out of high school, and in the early 2000s, I stopped watching a little bit, but it was mainly just because I was grown and had kids and other things going on, so I wasn't following as much other than doing the show. So it was like we were Red Wings heavy back then in the mid 2000s and all that. But when it came to hockey, yeah, I'm like, I don't ever remember them being good, but they act like they everything that
your best team was 1993, and you lost it because you beat us in 7.
That's
and
funny.
you ended up losing in the conference finals to the Kings.
Right.
You had a better goalie. You had Felix the Cat, man. Felix Patrick was a great goalie. Then you ended up with Cujo, who was another great goalie.
I loved Cujo, yeah.
The only I love Potvin. I love Cujo. It's just that 93 Toronto team, there was 2 players I fucking hated.
Uh-oh.
Wendy Clark.
Okay.
And Dougie fucking Gilmore.
Yeah, well, the Dougie Gilmore names
and
come
Canada
up more.
Mike knows Dougie fucking Gilmore.
I was gonna say Dougie
That's
Gilmore's
his last name. Fucking Dougie fucking Gilmore.
He's definitely come up in more than one conversation, Bruce.
Just like Bucky fucking Dent.
Yeah.
Any Red Sox fan? What's his name? Bucky fucking Dent.
All right.
Dougie fucking Gilmore. Hated Dougie Gilmore. Again, you went up there and he's all doing the milk and he's wearing his like pantyhose with like look like cow pantyhose on there. Fucking hate Doug Gilmore.
See,
you just wanted to beat the fuck out of Doug Gilmore.
My generation was the Lemieux thing, right? It was Colorado and the Wings. We were all in our early 20s.
But Lemieux at least won Stanley Cups. Dougie,
18s.
I mean, what Dougie did too with Calgary, but.
So that was the only guy that I can remember in NHL for us. He sort of been probably in my late teens, probably when they won that he got
because Lemieux played with New Jersey when they won it in '95 and they swept us 4-0. Right. Then he ends up with Colorado. They win in Colorado in '96, and then the whole basically nailing Draper into the boards on there, and the infamous great quote from Dino Ciccarelli: "I can't believe I shook his frickin' hand."
Yeah.
And then '97, Retribution gets his ass handed to him.
Yep.
We beat Colorado, win the Stanley Cup, and then start the Wings dynasty.
Yeah. So I was 19, going on 20, when all that stuff went down. So that would be for my generation. It was like that was the one. So he'd be the guy that I would say, "Oh, we got a hit list out there."
I hated Patrick Waugh.
Oh, I hated Patrick Waugh, dude. That guy made me so mad. We were like calling him Patricia Roy.
Patricia.
Yeah.
I have
I don't know why.
Scotty, former host Scotty Super Genius, basically his wife's cousin is from Toronto, but he's a he's a Habs fan. So, and he just thought Waugh walked on water. He goes, he's the greatest goalie on all time. I said, greatest goalie of all time. He's not even the greatest goalie of the Canadians.
Yeah, right.
He's third,
right,
behind Jacques Plante and Kenny Dryden.
Yeah, Dryden's amazing.
Dryden was getting. I think Dryden might be one of the best goalies on there. Dude, won a Conn Smythe after only playing like 5 regular season games. Was a starter in the playoffs. Wins the Conn Smythe. Then the following year, he wins the Calder as Rookie of the Year. Did Waugh win that? No. Dryden won like 6 Stanley Cups.
And I don't think he had any kind of pad size controversy or any of that kind of nonsense going on.
Jerseys the size. I mean,
he had all kinds of shit.
His jersey would have been big on me.
Oh, yeah, dude. It's ridiculous.
It's like a size 72 jersey.
Yeah.
It would have been big on Andre the Giant. If Andre the Giant played goalie and put on a jersey, like, damn, this thing's huge. And Waugh's like, you're wearing a tent. No wonder you're stopping everything. It's catching on his sleeves that are hanging down to the goddamn ice.
He's got one of those, like, flying squirrel suits on.
Oh, my
He's
God.
catching. He's like a giant human mitt.
Just
He's a giant human
That's
baseball
why they
mitt.
changed it. No, you're gonna have to make the pads smaller, and you're gonna have to have a jersey that fits you.
Yep. Yeah.
Not if you're like Shaq size. No.
That shit was silly. Yeah, he was like wearing a parachute or something. Oh man, that's too funny.
But yeah, I think the West is gonna be fun to watch on there. You don't know what to
Yeah.
get out of Utah or Phoenix on there. Denver's made a great run there, even though they lost Murray. If they didn't lose Murray, they might be the team that just don't want to sleep on.
Sure.
Because remember what Murray did last year in the bubble?
Yeah.
Going off. And now they're all, I mean, again, they lose him. That sucked on there. But Jokic is going to probably win your MVP on there. So I like that. As we said, Dallas, man, again, Clippers going to have to face Dallas. They better not sleep on
Well, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like,
one plus side is I think Kawhi can cover Luka.
I think so.
I don't know what to get out of Paul George.
This is the whole thing. Paul George has got to step up or they're getting popped.
Yes.
It's that simple. And that's kind of been the story really for the last 2 or 3 years.
Yes.
So
Since he had a nice run there with the Pacers in the day, but
right,
when
but
they
ever since he got
there was no heat, there was no expectations on his
Sure.
shoulders.
sure.
Now, hey, you're basically with the Clippers. You've got Kawhi, still probably the best two-way player in the game,
Right.
who basically has had teams on his shoulders and win them championships.
See, to me, this is what happened. Paul George and Kawhi are the same thing in the respect that so we've looked at all these teams. You can break down every team from here to fucking the dawn of time, and every team's got 3 or 4 great players on it. That's how they win championships, right? And there's always one alpha, and the other guys are fine with that.
Yeah.
And that's how it works. Those guys are fine with that, but neither one of them are the alpha.
No.
And so you got 2 guys there and no leader.
Right.
So you got 2 prime fucking beautiful canine fucking wolves and no pack leader.
Right.
And they don't know what to do. And yeah, they can execute and they can do stuff and it's all good, but when it comes down to when it's it's go time, they just don't have that alpha that with the killer instinct that we talked about. I mean, Zeke was all of that for the Pistons, right?
The alpha was Timmy Duncan.
Right.
He was the alpha.
Yep.
Quiet, but again, he led on the floor. Basically, he had
Right.
that quiet confidence on there. Like,
Right.
okay, we're going to buy into whatever he says because if he
Right.
talks, it's got to be important.
Right.
And plus, you had Pops.
Yep.
And then he goes to Toronto, and
Dude, that was more of a team thing than
that was a team thing on there because you
Yeah.
had a great mix on there.
Yeah.
And I think it was just great chemistry right off the bat.
Sure.
Nobody had too big of an ego, so everybody just gelled.
Well, you got a lucky shot. Remember now, he
Yes.
doesn't make that crazy shot in the
Conference finals.
Conference finals.
They don't go.
They don't. There's no championship. And I mean, that thing sat on the rim and bounced 62 times and rolled around and jumped back out and went back in. It was the craziest look. I mean,
came
that was
out,
obvious silly.
Came out and was
Float around.
halfway up, and all of a sudden, it just like a wind gust came, pushed it back in the ball.
Yeah, did like a figure 8, spun around. It was
Makes
like,
that huge shot against Philly, and that's on there.
so.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know what to get out of the West, the East. I mean, you're gonna have. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to watch.
I think so. I think so too. And even with these playing games, I mean, I don't think like this last one got a little, it turned into a game, and that's kind of what I expect from all of them to be fairly competitive games. So maybe we'll get an upset. I doubt it, but later tonight, but maybe. But it did make for an interesting run this season, and I like it. Like I said, I think it's going to be an interesting look when you see Phoenix and Utah, teams that we're not 100% sure of because they just don't have that proven track record. And it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, Moose, where there's 8 players in this league that dominate it no matter where they go, and you're trained to that.
Right.
And none of those guys are on those teams, so you don't know what's going to happen, right? I mean, Chris Paul is a classic flame job in the playoffs.
Right.
And, I
no
mean, he's
matter
notorious, yeah. So is that going to happen again? I don't know. We'll see. I guess my whole thing is when you look at Phoenix and Utah, you don't really know. But you go all the way to the bottom of the seedings, and you're talking about Golden State and LA. And if you look at them, how many championships have they won in the last decade combined?
Right, because the Lakers have won
Half of them?
Lakers won one. Well, yeah, if you go by LeBron, he's won. Yeah.
Yeah.
They have more than half.
All right.
Not just with it, because he won with Cleveland, 2 with Miami, 1 with Lakers. So he's got 4, and there's 3 with Golden State.
Right. I mean,
there's 7 of them.
Yeah, 7 of the last 10 have. That's what I'm saying. It's 8 guys dominating the whole
Kawhi's
league.
got 2 of them.
Right.
That didn't under. So
yeah. There's 3 guys. 3 getting the last 10 championships.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. You have 8 guys, 6 or 8 guys that are dominating the league, and so you're trained to that. So when you look at and you see LeBron and Steph Curry and guys like that in the 7th and 8th and 9th seed playing down there, and then you see Phoenix and Utah, and who the fuck's on Utah, and Phoenix has got Chris Paul and what, and you know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, you're just trained to think, okay, so that's what makes it interesting is, are your instincts, what you're used to seeing, what's been happening in the past, does that kind of just happen regardless of what you've been seeing to this point, or does that all change this year? It just feels like there's a lot there. It's going to be fun.
I mean, if you really look at it, it's interesting on there. And again, Utah might be the most complete team on there because
yeah, probably the depth wise, kind of from every position. The key is once again, it doesn't that doesn't happen that often, right?
No.
The 04 Pistons doesn't happen that often.
No. I mean, Donovan Mitchell could be a super solid. He's on that cusp, could be a superstar in there. Rudy Gobert, a great defensive player on there, plays on there. You got Bogdanovic on there.
Sure.
Yeah, nice. You got Mike Conley, who's like 150 years old, is still playing a pretty good point guard.
All right. But I mean, that sounds like the Pistons to me, right?
It sounds just like, again, the old
Sheed and Ben Wallace and Chauncey Billups. Isn't that what you just said to me? Isn't that what you just basically said to me? I mean, that's what I feel like I just heard. So
exactly. This is probably, again, the most team-oriented out there.
Right, with it, right. So yeah, you don't see, but those teams don't rise to the top all as much. But you could see it. You could see it happen. I mean, but you don't see it. You just don't that often.
No.
But well, then you. It wouldn't be entirely surprising, as I'd say their coach would be the second place guy for coach of the year. So if he plays well, he plays his cards right, kind of situation.
Which I'd never thought he was that good of a coach when he was at college, when he was at like Missouri, Quinn Snyder.
Yeah,
but again, he's a younger guy under it just fits well with the pro thing, just like Brad Stevens.
Sure.
Younger guy can basically relate with the guys out there because they're young enough on there, and with the egos and kind of managing the egos in that with it.
Yep.
So Stevens, I think, is a little better X and O's on there because you've seen what he did with Butler there in the NCAA.
Sure, yeah.
And people are blaming. I'm not blaming Stevens on it. I'm blaming that fat little leprechaun for Boston's woes this year.
Yeah, well, I think that's
keep getting these multiple picks in the first rounder. They're only good if you hit on them or you trade up and get a lottery pick. I
think people are too, but like, how long does that last before he's out of there? Because I don't know. Do you feel like Ainge is gone before Stevens is gone?
Ainge will be gone before Stevens. If Stevens gets gone, he's hired like that.
Yeah, I think Stevens will get hired right away.
Yeah.
But I mean, they let Doc go and the Clippers, and it doesn't seem like anything changed over there.
No.
And they tried to basically put it on Doc.
Stevens seemed to have a little bit more success than the Doc had because, again, the Clippers never made it past the second round, whereas Boston's made it a couple times to the conference finals.
Sure, but Doc's got championships, so I'm not listening to that because Doc he's proven that he can get to a championship and win it. So I know he's got the biggest thing for me with Doc would be being on the back end of so many series that you're ahead in.
Right.
Like, he's like lost 3 3-1 series or 2-3-1 series, and he's lost like 3-3-2 series. It's like that would be where it feels like it's on the coach, and you know, if you're up like that, you just need one more game, you should get that goddamn game. So maybe that would be your knock on Doc, but I mean, you know, he's won a title. I know it's been a while, but he's won a title and Stevens is not. So at some point in time, does ownership decide to get rid of Ainge or get rid of? I don't know that answer. That's kind of what I was getting at.
Yeah.
And like you said, if Stevens gets canned, he'll get picked up anywhere, because if he's got a competent GM making decent picks, I think he's good for any team. You know, it was like when the Pistons got rid of what's his name for Larry Brown. I mean, I knew he was going to get swooped up. He was a good coach. We just got lucky enough to get Larry. He was available, and it was one of the few possible upgrades from Carlisle.
Right. It was probably really at that time might be the only upgrade that was worth jump on there
Right.
from Carlisle.
Right.
Who's again ended up winning a championship with Dallas.
Sure, and he's a good coach, and he's been there since.
Yes.
And so, but I mean, I guess that's just one of those, you know. So, but we'll see. I think once again, if they underachieve next year, then I think everybody's on the hot seat over there.
Yeah.
I mean, if they get bounced early and underachieve next year, everybody's on the hot seat.
Yes.
Including Stevens. But like you said, I don't think that he's the problem.
No. I think they need to hit on it. But, you know, again, we'll see what happens with Doc on there, with Philly on there. This might be the time where Philly finally gets over the hump in it. Because, again, everybody seems to, at least in the regular season, everybody kind of took a step up. I mean,
sure.
Joel Embiid, offensive-wise, took a monster step up. And again, he was already really, really good on there. But you look at this year, and he was an offensive force. Well, Ben Simmons has taken a huge step up as the point guard, shooting better, but distributing the ball way better than he's been
right.
with it. And so I see. But again, it always helps too, because you've got a former All-Pro point guard as your head coach who can tell you, hey, here's what you need to do
right.
when you're passing and everything. And of course, being 7 foot point guard always helps too.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. Well, a big part of that too is, like I said, it's all about matchups, right? So that's what it's going to really boil down to. But I like I said, there's just a couple of teams. But in the end, Moose, if you're Philly and you lose in the conference finals to Brooklyn, like, that's not a failure.
I don't know if that's a failure, because,
you know
I'm with you on it, because again, Brooklyn is like a super team put together.
Right. So, like, if Doc goes to Philly and they play great and they get to the conference finals and they get beat, even if they get beat in 5 or 6 games, I mean, it's Brooklyn and everybody's healthy and you fall in 5 or 6 games or 7 or whatever. I mean, I don't know.
The only way I see it being a failure is if they lose before the conference final.
Sure. Well, I think how you lose is a big thing, right? So let's say you're up, and you know what I mean. Like we just talked about,
if they're up 3-1 and end up losing
a series, then people start freaking out, because that's, like I said, if there's any knock you have on Doc Rivers, it would be that. So if that rears its ugly head, and they don't get to the Eastern Finals, then that would be a different conversation. But I mean, going and losing to Brooklyn, a healthy Brooklyn team,
no, I don't see that.
Dude, there ain't no shame in that game, because they're probably gonna win it all.
Yeah.
I mean,
even if you lose to Milwaukee in 7 in the conference finals, I don't see that as a
not if you not if you worked them over.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Again, the only way I say it is if they don't make it to the conference finals, then you got to look at him.
Right.
But I think I think it's going to be Brooklyn and Philly in the Eastern Conference Finals.
I agree.
West, I have no clue.
That's the one that's so wide open, because, like we said, we're so trained to see those guys dominate, And then when you see those guys in the bottom seedings, it's hard to believe that the new teams, that the that the Utahs and the Phoenixes are gonna get out of there. I just feel like when is this going to be the first year that an 8 seed or a 7 seed
gets to the finals?
Gets out of the first round. Did they ever even get out of the first or second round?
Get out of the first round.
Yeah.
I think a 7 seed might under, but it doesn't. I mean, it's rare.
Yeah,
it's not like hockey
ever.
because you almost guarantee it.
Yeah, right.
This year, you don't have that traditional 1 versus 8 because the first 2 rounds are within your division.
Sure,
so
yeah.
it's 1 versus a 4. So
yeah,
it's right on
goofy,
that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we look on that. Then again, we had the NBA or the Basketball Hall of Fame induction ceremonies over the weekend, and that.
Yeah.
Kevin Garnett is still butthurt about it, and he won't give any acknowledgement to Ray Allen. Yeah. Why? Because he left and went to Miami? And won 2 more championships?
I love the tenacity of the whole old school mentality about I wanted to beat those guys, not go play with them. And, just getting together on the banana boat and getting to hang out, colluding to get with your play ball with your buddies. Like, I get I get it. I kind of appreciate it too, but come on, dude. Get over
Acknowledge
it.
he was your teammate. He helped you.
Yeah, dude.
The way he was shooting threes got you that championship.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, the bond that you guys should have built going through that should way override.
He was part of the 3 Amigos.
Right.
Come on.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that should have far override the fact that he went to another team in a business. It's a business. Like, you guys say it all the time that it's a business, and then now he makes a business decision, and you're butthurt about it. And it's this long. It's like, come on, dude.
It's over a decade.
Like, dude, I've never seen. I mean, I guess people hold grudges, but usually grown-ass men don't hold grudges like that. That's like little kids and girls stuff.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I don't want to sound sexist or goofy or ageist or whatever, but that's like little kid, girly, goofy shit.
Little kid stuff. Kwame Brown going on. Again,
Jeez.
there's a lot of language on there, and again, we're not on the radio, but I don't feel comfortable dropping those on there, especially with my ethnicity.
Dude, N-bombs after N-bombs
are never good.
Yeah,
especially coming from a white guy.
No, but my whole thing with the N-bomb is I don't care who it comes from because it loses. What you're saying loses power, right?
Right.
It's kind of like we joked earlier in the intro about the dropping the MFers.
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson is the only one that seems to get away with it because really, when you start going MFer over and over and over again, that's all anybody hears.
Right.
Even if you say something in between. Remember the old Eddie Murphy Raw? Yeah. It'd be like, I had to put some jokes in between the curses. I can't just do a curse show. It'd be like pussy, dick, fart, bitch, suck my dick, eat my balls, I'm out of here. You know what I mean? You can't do that. And that's the kind of thing. You can't. If you just start dropping N-bomb, 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 all I'm hearing is beep, 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 beep. I can't.
Yeah.
You could have had a great point. I have no fucking idea.
He didn't have a great point.
No. And in this case, he sure as hell didn't have a good point.
Again, everybody said was true. It's like,
right.
Dude, you're the reason why there's no longer again, I'm coming out of high school. Well, you got to play a year in college or go to the G League.
Right. You got to be grown because you can't be
Because you can't be like Kwame.
Yes. It is the Kwame Brown rule. He's such a whiner. But this is why his career never got going. And he wasn't any different here. And it's like, what did you think you were going to change him when he came here? What was he, like a 4th pick overall or something?
First pick overall.
Was he a 1 pick?
Yes.
I know. I thought he was top 5. I didn't realize he was number 1 overall when he was drafted. I know we didn't draft.
First pick overall. Again, he was a 7-footer that just was a bum.
Yeah. Definitely shit the bed.
Him and Jermaine O'Neal. I mean, they're the ones that ruined for everybody coming out of high school.
Yeah, no.
But Jermaine at least had a better career than Kwame Brown.
He did. Yeah, I was going to say Jermaine O'Neal had an all right career. So, I mean, it's hard with some of these bigger guys to know if you're going to get them for a long, even if you get somebody great.
If Magic Johnson came out of high school, guess what? He'd still be Magic Johnson.
Yeah. Well, even if they're great, you know what I mean? Sometimes you don't know how long these guys are going to play because of injury or whatever. So, and then you don't know what cats are gonna do when they get money.
Right.
And so, like, it's a weird dynamic when you deal with that, professional sports like that, especially when cats that don't come from anything all of a sudden have everything.
Yeah.
And they, people don't know how to act sometimes.
Don't know how to act once again.
I mean, I can't say that I'd know. I'd probably do some. I guarantee,
yeah, you're 18 years old and you're making millions of dollars.
I guarantee
and
you, I
can
would
do
do
whatever
dumb
you
shit.
want.
Guarantee I do dumb shit. Guarantee
trust me.
100%. You think you're invincible?
Because you can't hang out with the guys. Hey, we're going to the bar. Oh, I can't. I'm 18.
All right. Well, what it does is it turns into, the invincible thing. When you're younger, you just, I'll do this for X amount of time. I got X amount of contract. I'm fine. Say no thing. And then you just start slipping.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened with Kwame. He's like, he had kind of a bad attitude, and he didn't have injury issues too. He couldn't stay healthy.
Attitude.
Yeah. And it's like,
work hard.
right. No effort. Yeah.
And he bitches about everybody, all his teammates.
Well, that's the biggest thing. He's a malcontent. And
there it is. Malcontent.
And this is the deal. We talk about it all the time. When the headaches you bring outweigh the talent you have, you're done. You've
got a problem when you're a bigger malcontent. Your teammate Gilbert Arenas, who brought a gun to the locker room.
Did you hear what I said? He's more of a malcontent than Gilbert Arenas. Did you get that? That is a quote. You can write that down. The guy brought a gun to the locker room. Didn't he have like a bag with gun and ammo in it or something like that?
It was in his locker.
Yeah.
And he pulled it out or something.
Didn't somebody else have their shit too? Who else was it? Didn't somebody else?
Yes. There was a brawl. Oh my god, I gotta look this one.
Oh, cause wasn't it like in the locker room and then someone got suspended behind that shit?
Well, Gilbert did.
Yeah, well I know he did. Yeah, because he's not supposed to have that. Well, come on, you're supposed to just. I don't care if you got a license for that thing or not. I don't care if you got a CCW or not. You can't just be rolling around into stadiums with a gun. It's just not. It's not how this country works. It's not a.
All you got, Gilbert Arenas LOC locker room gun story.
Yeah,
that was the first time. Carry on Butler.
That's who it was. Oh God! Imagine them just like going all last Boy Scout in the fucking locker room. That'd be a mess, wouldn't it?
Running down there, dribbling, got a gun.
Let's see how good your handles are. Start shooting at his feet. Dribble that ball. Better run.
Oh, actually, it was he count because he's a teammate. It was Gilbert Arenas and Javaris Crittenton were the two that had the incident.
Oh, the Crittenton.
Yeah, but Butler goes, yeah, Hunter. Basically, it was, I see your expletive practice, and you know what I do, Gilbert said. And then, what the bleep do you mean? You know what I do, replied Javaris? I play with guns. Well, I play with guns, too. And the two weren't kidding.
That's so nuts, dude. Yeah, I remember that. That was an epic story.
Yeah, and
I want that one on Dark Side. They need to do Dark Side of Basketball.
Oh no, you don't need to shoot me with one of those at Javaris. It basically is Gilbert.
Didn't he have like
pointing it? I'm going to shoot your bleep with one of these. Gilbert, and he goes, "Oh, you don't need to shoot me with one of those." Javaris said, turning around slowly like a gunslinger no West. I got one right here, and he pulled out his own gun, already loaded, and cocked it and pointed at Gilbert.
I will blow your nuts off if I have to. Shit. Canada Mike checks in. We were talking earlier about how not knowing how to act when you got money. I said, I guarantee if I was 20 years old and I had a bunch of money, I'd do dumb shit. And Canada Mike says, I do dumb shit when I have $50, when I have an extra $50.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I'm with you. I do dumb shit when I have an extra $50 too. That's why I've got this like pop collection developing over here, because you can get them for like $8, and it's like, oh, this is kind of neat.
And Motor City Comic Con is going to be effective coming into this town.
The older I get, the dorkier I get, guys.
So I'm thinking, somebody
there.
posted, is there going to be Funko Pops there? Oh, it's the mother load.
Dude, I walked into a place because I was like bored and I had like a little extra lunch that day before just the way my jobs landed. I had a little extra few minutes for lunch, and I'm like, well, I kind of ate my lunch in the car today anyway. I'm gonna stop in and nose around for some stuff, and I'm like, oh, and I went into GameStop. I haven't been into GameStop in a while, and I'm like, oh, I got my Wii, and we goof around. I'm like, I'll just wander around in here for a few minutes, and I'll go over to the store now. Vaccinated, the mask mandates things are lifting here. It's a little bit more. It's nice out, so things are a little bit different. And so I was nosing around, and they've got a selection of pops all over the place, and I'm like, whoa, look at all these things, like crazy ones. They got big ones and like huge ones and little ones and normal ones, and I got them for like all kinds of different stuff. And I always look for the exclusive ones where they only sell them at those locations. There's usually not a lot of runs, and if it's something you like, that's one you might have a shot of being worth a couple of bucks later. You can get your money back if you want to sell it. Dude, I walk in there and I'm just nosing around. I'm not even sure I'm gonna get anything, but I seen them, and I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna go over there and look at them. I'm looking at other stuff, birthday stuff for the kids and just shit like that. Because if I find a good deal on something, I'll buy it now and put it in the. I found something for Ray. Her birthday's not till fucking December. I was like, oh, I'll just put that away. So I wasn't there. I was at the Myers, but that's the shit I do. Like if I got downtime, and so I was nosing around. Maybe I'd find something for her son and the Funko. And the guy comes up and he's like, so how long you been collecting pops? And I'm like, fuck you. How'd you know I collect pops? I'm just looking around, And he's like, oh no, He's like, he looks at me. He's like, who got you on them? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, nobody gets on pops by themselves. I'm like, what in the fuck are we talking about here? He's like, pops always start from somebody else.
Like, you think I'm on meth or what?
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
He's like, pops always start from someone else. Someone gets you a pop, and then then you just getting them for yourself now. So the first one's free, and then and I'm like, dude, yeah, oh, dude, it was so silly. So me and this younger guy were fucking goofing around in the fucking GameStop over the pops and shit. So then I had to buy one. I'm like, all right, I'll take a hit, and I put it on the counter, and he starts laughing. I bought one. They were like on sale for $8. I got a little fucking Marvel luchador. It's Wolverine in a luchador outfit. Awesome. So I was like, all right, I'll get him. He was $8. Yeah, I don't even think he was that. He was like $8 and 15% off. He's in the middle row, second from the right.
I see him.
Yes, he's Wolverine. He actually looks like the Michigan Wolverine helmet.
Yes.
Kinda, with the Wolverine luchador mask on.
Yeah, it looks like he's wearing the blue and the yellow.
Yeah.
Wolverine from Hulk 183.
Yeah.
Ooh.
See, we're dorking out here. I told you, I'm turning into a geek.
Created by Len Wein.
Jeez. Canada Mike's laughing too because he's got the Funko Pop disease too. See, we're all pop heads. We're all a bunch of pop heads. Like, it's just, I don't even know what to say. And the cat is watching the show very closely from the monitor, if you haven't noticed, in the camera, our studio cat.
So,
yeah, the nonsense that goes on here. Anyway, what the fuck were we talking about? We were talking about basketball, right?
Yep. So we
NBA.
Yep, and then we got Boston, Washington's in overtime, 2-2, in the NHL playoffs. So we got that.
But they still have regular season games yet to play, don't they? Don't they? Have, like,
I think
did they play the last one today? Like at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on fucking the Outdoor Network or some stupid shit because nobody knows where the fuck hockey's at. The fuck is going on with hockey? Oh, I said the F word like 100 times in this segment. This is horrible. I gotta clean that up. That's not good. But yeah, I just don't. That's a mess. Okay, so it's overtime.
Overtime.
Okay.
Actually, we are all done with regular season. I think
they finally get them all caught up.
Yep.
Why were they even having them play when it doesn't even matter? None of them are making.
I know.
Wasn't Vancouver one of them?
One of them was Vancouver. Calgary was Vancouver today on there.
It's like, come on. What's that? What does it have something to do with
the lottery pick?
I was about to say, have something to do with the draft. Yeah. I mean, but could you just stop and go, wait a minute, we don't need to do this.
No.
Everybody will be all right. Like, the seating, where it's at is
because
good.
I think that was the last on there for.
I mean, was there any significant changes based on those games? That's what I want to know. Is there any significant difference
I
in the
I thought it
seedings?
made a difference when some of the teams were playing each other to get in playoff seedings there, but
Sure.
freaking Vancouver and Calgary mean nothing.
That's what I mean. If it doesn't change the seeding in the draft, I don't know why the fuck are we doing this. But that would be the only reason I could see them playing it. But it's still so weird. Why wouldn't you just give the playoffs a rest for an extra day or two before you start running them games? Why would you have them overlap like that? It's kind of goofy to me. And then, like I said, just the availability of finding the games. I mean, I don't have a problem here, but depending on where you're at, you're not. These games aren't easy to find.
Right, because you had a regular season game today, and yet you're on tomorrow will be Game 3 of Washington or
Right.
the Islanders in Pittsburgh.
Right, you had playoff games playing on at the same time as regular season games, and then you had games going on at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon,
Right.
11 o'clock like Pacific time and shit on some of these. It's
Which
like
meant
what the
nothing.
fuck?
Yeah, the Flames and the Canucks, which meant nothing for either of them.
You know, you
On
got
there.
you got hockey games in the middle of the day for no fucking reason. And it's like I don't know. It just seemed a little discombobulated. And then that Boston game, they weren't sure if they were going to get that one in. I think
Right.
because of the fucking whole COVID thing. You know, there was some. They thought they had some leaked information that there might have been some positive testing. You know, positive tests or something like that, and that they might not be able to play that game.
The NHL
Isn't that what
admitted
it
a
was?
mistake on what was that? I saw they just admitted a mistake on
Okay.
testing.
Okay, is that what it was? I don't know. I was only catching part of it just before we came down to set up.
Admitting a testing error in a Blues Knights test on it.
That's what it was. It was the Blues game, yeah.
And again, we got Pittsburgh and the Islanders are tied 1-1 on their games on there. So Game 3's tomorrow. And again, I do have friends that are, lived at one time in the Pittsburgh area that are Penguins fans, and I gotta have mercy on your soul.
Yeah, right.
I feel sorry for you. I just can't root for Crosby.
I can't do it either.
Can't do it.
I don't. He gets the LeBron James treatment for me, where
He's such a whiny little.
because
bitch.
he does. It's just the shit he says and the way he kind of acts. It's like, yeah, I get it. He's
The fact that the NHL made it a point to give them the 3 number 1 picks 3 years in a row.
well, yeah, that's one of those things where if you're gonna get into I'm not a conspiracy theory guy. I don't buy in, but yeah, how you get number 1 pick 3 years in a row is just beyond me without some kind of divine intervention.
Shenanigans.
Yeah, shenanigans.
Yeah, I
I
know
like
the
that
team
better.
was going to fold or whatever, but, come on. Bullshit.
Yeah, that was pretty
But
messed
then
up.
you give it to the Rangers last year, who made the playoffs, but you gave them the number 1 pick, and of course they didn't go to the playoffs this year. And they fired their general manager, their coach, and president.
And we extended Blashill.
I see the reason why they extended Blashill, because the next guy is just not available yet, and basically it's a 2-year deal. It's get through your next year, because I think even Eichmann looked at the roster and says this roster is hot garbage.
Yeah, I mean,
Not all.
I was gonna say they got a couple of guys, but I get it.
You look at what they did last year. I mean, they literally knocked it from last year to this year, and then they literally took off half a goal per game, off on their defense. So their defense did play better. We see progression on that.
Right.
We'll see what next year. And their Sider was just named best defenseman of the SHL on there, so he'll be up here next year. He's not going to be spending any time in Grand Rapids. He's going to be with the big club.
Oh, right, sure, good.
Dude, I think again, as I said, he is the number 1 prospect in the NHL, and we got him at the 6th pick on there. You go, I don't know about defenseman, dude. He was on there, but what do we know?
Right.
Obviously, we see him now. We're seeing what he does now as he's growing into that monstrous body. He's just like, holy crap! This is again the physical defenseman what Wings fans have been praying for since Vlad the Impaler got injured in the limo accident.
Yeah, right.
But he doesn't have the size that Sider has.
Sure.
He just looked like a villain from a Bond movie or from a Russian, Cold War movie. Dude, he looked like, again, he was like the villain, the henchman.
Yes, the evil henchman, yes.
I mean, laying out, remember the Legion of Doom on there? Oh, look at them. They have these huge guys there on that line there in Philly. And he basically killed them single-handedly. I mean,
Right.
just impaled these guys. Like
Sure.
you're hitting. He's like hitting barbed wire. You get up and like you're like, oh my god, what just hit me? I hurt.
Yeah, right.
So we'll see in that. But again, this year the NHL in it, I hope a team from Canada actually gets to the finals on
Sure.
there. And again, Canada. I'm not rooting for the Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
I want Edmonton to get to it
Yeah. Yeah, I think Edmonton
because
got
I'm
the
a
best
Connor
shot.
McDavid slappy.
Yeah. I think they got. I think you probably. If Connor
And I've
McDavid
kind of made that known for the last 3 years.
if Connor McDavid does Connor McDavid things, then they're gonna. Then
Yes.
they got the best chance. I mean, let's
Yes.
be real about it.
It could be Tampa and well, actually, it can't be because I think Canada plays the North or the or the Central in the conference final. So we'll see what happens there. But no, I'm gonna root for again of all the Canadian teams. Yeah, I'm gonna root for Edmonton. I want them to see it do it again because it's also a small market team.
Yeah.
I think Vegas has got a good shot at getting there too. I think Tampa. I think there's a lot of. I mean, this is a year where too is you're going to have a lot of teams that could get to it.
Sure.
It's just I think it's the way it's going to be.
So.
You know,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the getting a little bit more into these playoffs, but it's the NHL is not an easy watch right now as far as just finding it.
it's
but
just hard finding it.
yeah,
Right.
it's just
But
like
there was been some great games to watch.
Yes,
It's
I was
just
about to
how-
say-
where am I going to find it?
yeah. Well, that's what happens to me, right? I'm like looking, I'm like I can't find a game. I'm nosing around. I can go into the thing and I have to like, even with some of these NBA games, I was going through the thing thinking, oh, I'll find a game, and I'm like, the ESPN game was the only one I found, and I'm like, bullshit, man, I want to see Portland game from like the other day, and I had to go into my, I got the IPTV, and I went in there and just looked under Portland and watched, because that you can just do that, but I couldn't find it on all the sports channels and shit.
Right.
I'm like, why is there only one game on? And so, hockey is way harder to find than the NBA
Right,
games.
because you're looking at it as NBC Sports Network, and we got CNBC covering it. Again, why isn't NBC covering it? Gee, really? We need like the Wednesday 3 episodes of freaking Dick Wolf Chicago procedural programs? Come on, it's hockey. It's playoff hockey. Put it on the mothership.
Yeah. Oh, I
The
agree.
main network.
I
on
agree.
there. What the
I
hell?
agree.
I mean, thank God is next year we'll see ESPN will have it also on ABC, TBS, and TNT will have it.
Yeah.
So at least we'll be able to find NBA or NHL games for postseason next year pretty easily.
Well, and yeah, they're gonna move TNT and TBS are gonna be shuffling some stuff around so that they can accommodate more sports.
Right.
So they'll have baseball. Well, you'll have baseball. You'll have basketball. You'll have pro wrestling. You'll have on both channels, TBS and TNT. You'll have now you're gonna add hockey. So yeah, so I think they want to be a player in sports. I think when it comes down to it, anything that is a live broadcast garners more commercial value. So if I'm selling TV time, it is more likely it holds more value if the program is live.
Right.
Because if it is pre-recorded, cats will DVR it, watch it later, not watch the commercials, fast forward through them, skip through them, not pay attention. When it's a sporting event with social media, stuff like that gets around. You kind of have to watch it live or shut everything to your outside world off until you can watch a game that you DVR'd or whatever, and that's just not realistic. So I think that's just kind of, they just play into what our daily life is, like how things are.
And I have like a high def off-air antenna for the off-air channel, so 2, 4, 7, 6. I can't get channel 9. Channel 9 is not available. I mean,
how do you not get the Canadian channel here?
It won't pick it up.
I can.
I scanned it and
I can throw a baseball to Canada from here.
You scan on there. I got 64 freaking channels
right
on there, but I don't have any CBC.
You are getting Canadian blocked.
I got cock blocked by Canada.
You got fucking, yes. You thought you were getting bacon and you got a piece of ham.
Canadian bacon. I got a big piece of Canadian bacon, which is freaking ham. Salty ham.
I love my Canadian brethren, but
Canadian bacon sucks.
Canadian bacon is not bacon. It's ham, and it makes me mad because it's
cured salty ham.
It's false advertising. It gets my hopes up.
Yeah, Mike's like, you rat bastards.
I love you.
Because I love watching CBC. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Dude, I watch a lot of Canadian programming here at
Yeah.
home, so yeah. I grew up with it too because my grandparents had property in Canada, and we would go there in the summer, and you know, I've told the bullshit here before, so. And then we were always like right there on the border, you know, right across the river. We just get on the ferry.
Yeah, again, back in the day, watching the the playoffs, especially when the Wings were good. And that, all right, who's calling the game on and when it was ESPN? Gary Thorne's calling. All right, I'll watch ESPN. If Gary Thorne's not calling the game, all right, clicking over to CBC.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, Don Cherry was a staple for how long?
Yes, but again, he loved to hear the
Whether-
Detroit and the
Right,
goal.
right, whether
I mean,
you
it was
like him
just
or
like,
not.
the Harry Neal and Brad
Right.
Park. Detroit. Calgary. Love watching the CBC broadcast because it was always better on there.
Yeah.
Gary Thorne, again, if ESPN, when they get it back on there, call Gary Thorne. He's not doing anything.
Yeah,
First call.
there you go. That's awesome. But
Bill Clement, Gary Thorne. They're not doing anything. Bring them back.
they just added some chick to the mix here. I don't know. She looks like she's 12.
Yeah, cheap ripoffs of the was it the Letterman or the Varsity Boys on there from WWE back in the
Yeah,
day?
well, that's his dad. That's his kid. That's Brian Pillman Jr.
Yeah, Brian Pillman, and it was Brian Pillman.
It was Brian Pillman,
and,
Steve Austin.
Steve, no, before that it was.
They were the Hollywood Blondes.
Right, but
That
you had the varsity, the varsity, the Lettermans on there.
Uh-huh.
That was Mike Rotundo and
Oh yeah, no,
I think it was Brian Pillman then.
they're playing off the Varsity
Mike
Blondes.
Rotundo went to Syracuse, was All-American wrestler at Syracuse,
Oh, the Hollywood
and
Blondes.
also too is that was when you got Steiner, Rick Steiner was part of that too.
Yeah, yeah.
And they would all wear their varsity Letterman jackets when they played college sports.
Yes. Well, that was a thing back then, which is just it's funny because if you think about it, the Steiners wore all their Michigan Letterman stuff from up north, and they were in a southern territory,
Right.
but they were all babyface
Yes.
pretty much most of the
Well,
time
Rick was
until Scott lost his mind and went
Yeah.
to Big Papa Pumper, right?
Yeah, couldn't move,
Yeah, he write it out
dude. Yeah.
like he's like.
Dude, the Steiner, the Frankensteiner, dude, when you seen Scotty, man, like, because he
Yeah.
was already pretty built
Yeah.
and everything, but move like that, I'm like, dude, somebody that big should not be able to move that fast.
No, he did all those cruiserweight moves that like most people didn't even see in this country at that time.
Right.
And then he was that size and that muscular build like that doing that. It was the craziest thing you ever
It's just
saw.
Like, we're like, holy shit, wow, these guys lose, dude.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, it's just kind of like the Legion of Doom thing, right?
Yes.
They just, you know,
If they didn't want to lose, there was nothing you
Yeah,
could do.
you were
I
going
know
to-
we're not losing tonight.
the only reason they lose is because they just were in their own heads and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's his name? Hawk just lost it, you know, and couldn't keep it together. But yeah, if it could have gone on for as long as they wanted it to.
Look at the old Andre the Giant. If Andre the Giant didn't want to lose,
Yeah.
there
Oh,
was
yeah.
nothing you could do about it.
Yeah. The one thing about Andre is the same thing that it's his body gave out, you know, on him. He just couldn't.
He got again. He was
He's just
already
getting
big,
so
but he got
big.
so big that
Yeah.
the body couldn't handle it.
Yeah, and then someone like that going through that. I mean, think about taking a bump and being 500 pounds when you take that bump. I mean, you're crashing hard.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like it's not like me. I weigh $150. You know what I'm saying? $160. I can, you know, I can hit the ground a little bit softer than someone that weighs, I don't know, 3 times as much as I do.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That guy eats dinners bigger than I do.
He drinks your
But then me.
he drinks your quotient of beer for a year and a night.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I mean, the beer I buy for a party is his glass.
Yes. That's his. All right, case of beer.
Yeah. If I got him a keg, he would just put a handle on it.
Just rip the top off.
He'd just put it in a koozie and just drink it. He'd just be like, and just drink it out of his Andre the Giant koozie. And if to us it's like this with a wraparound, but for him it's just in his hand like a
koozie with
a real keg. It just looks like the Heineken keg cans in his hand, but it's like a real keg.
It's like the mini Oberon kegs. We're like, oh, we can drink these in a night. He's like,
yeah. I will take another one, please. I'll take 3 of those at a time. It takes you too long to get back here.
It's a keg. It's a half barrel. I don't care.
I don't care.
So yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting when we get to the playoffs wise on there. And again, I'm not rooting for the Capitals because when you root for the Capitals, they're gonna choke. So we're not gonna root for them.
Okay, wait a minute. We got to go back because bacon talk is always more important than anything. Canada Mike says they don't call it Canadian bacon here.
What do they call it? Ham?
They call it Pamil bacon. You should just call it Canadian bacon.
Pamil bacon?
P-E-M-E-A-L. Pamil.
Why don't you just call it what it is? Ham.
Why? Yeah.
Ham.
Just ham.
I mean, again, I do appreciate the great Canadian cuisine of poutine.
Yes.
But, that's about it.
Well, like
some shops, yeah.
I'm all about different things. It's just that doesn't sound. I don't know if that sounds better, but that's cool that they don't call it Canadian bacon, because if I said Canadian bacon, that might be racist or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
They might be mad at me.
Ugly American.
Well, it's like I was trying to tell my buddy. It's like you don't call Asian people Oriental. That's a fucking rug or a lamp. It's not a human. A human is Asian. Don't call them Oriental. They don't like that. I say they don't like that. Asian people don't like that. I'm not any better. I'm a fucking moron.
Yes. No, it is true. I mean, my mom's like the Orientals. Mom, we don't use that term anymore.
Yeah,
we haven't used that term, I don't know, in 40 years.
Yeah.
Asian.
Yes, it's Asian.
The Orient. I mean, come on, really, Mom?
Yeah.
Sorry, Orientals.
Oriental. They're not a like knick-knack.
Yes.
They're not like, you don't put them in like the curio cabinet in the corner of your den. What the fuck? Sorry.
Yeah. Craziness out there. With it, we didn't get in there.
No, we didn't. What is it?
Baseball. We had a no-hitter last night.
Yes, we definitely got to get into that. I thought for some reason you know what it was? The whole Gala robbed thing kind of made me think something bad was going to happen. I was watching the end of that game, going, don't get this fucked up by an umpire.
Yes.
But Turnbull never did anything. 3-17 just a couple of years ago.
Right.
And he couldn't get out of the 7th inning anywhere. At any point in time, has he ever gotten out of the 7th inning? He just did a full game no. I don't think he's ever got out of the 7th inning.
His most pitches on there, but yeah, I mean this season.
Well, buck 17 or something.
This year he's like a ZRA. No, of course, last night is now dropped to 2.8. So he's had a decent start. I mean, the starting pitching overall has not been terrible for the Tigers on there.
Right.
It's a problem is our bullpen, other than Michael Fulmer, has been terrible.
Right.
Fulmer now look like he's gonna be now the closer on there. I have nothing wrong with that, dude. He's still again. If you can close games and get a save, fine. Right. With it, but yeah, you know what? We look under. I love no. It's the 6th no of the season. I don't care what the MLB says. It's their 5th on there, dude. You set the rules. What was a complete game under? So if it's a doubleheader, it's a 7-inning game. Well, Madison Bumgarner pitched a no-hitter during a 7-inning game, but it was part of a doubleheader. So that is a complete game. So you made the rules, and now you want to say, oh, it doesn't fit our criteria. Bullshit.
Right.
It was a no-hitter.
Yeah.
Complete game.
Yeah.
No-hitter.
Yep. Absolutely.
6 no-hitters, and the record for a season is 8. Right. And we're not even we're only a quarter of the way through the season.
I'm with you, Mike. Canada Mike. I was pacing around and watching the game too, and it's like the Tigers aren't good, so it's like anything you can grab onto right now, right? So
yeah.
And I was at the Galarraga game, right on the first baseline. We weren't even that far up, and I was just looking. It was like slow motion while I watched it happen. And I wanted to run out on the fucking field, steal a bat, and beat the shit out of that fucking umpire. I was so pissed.
Yes.
And so I am so salty and so tainted that I thought, and I mean, it's a no-no, so I wouldn't have been that mad. as opposed
That
to
was
a perfect game with Galarraga. But with a no, I wouldn't have been as mad. But I was still, I've been tainted. I just thought for sure we were gonna get screwed somewhere, and it was wasn't
It was
gonna.
great to on there, and I love seeing what the Tigers got to know. More important is how many more times is Seattle going to get no hit this year? Because they've already got no hit twice.
Well, they can come back. We'll do it again.
We'll do it again on there. That's how bad Seattle's offense is. They've been no hit twice.
That's crazy.
And we're barely over 40 games into the season.
That's insane.
Good news is Tigers are no longer in last place in the division. We're actually 7-3 our last 10.
Why is that good? Don't we want a better pick? Or does it not matter in baseball?
Baseball, you want the number one pick overall, but the number one pick, I mean, baseball, the draft on there, you're not guaranteed. Basically, the number one pick is always not guaranteed to be a great player.
No, you're right.
On that. What's nice, too, is Otani from the...
Otani. Oh, my gosh.
Leading the league in home runs, and he has not given up an extra base hit pitching.
Dude, this guy just does it all.
Why is not baseball not making him the poster child of the market? Dude is
speaking the English.
Trust me, you can market him out west on there. There's
tons speak of the English. And they don't, you know what?
They don't market anybody.
I was about to say, well, let me back the train up. That's usually the biggest problem is the language barrier, right? If you don't have a nice, clean, clear accent, it's all right if you have an accent, but if people can't understand you clearly, then they tend to not market you because of that. And but baseball doesn't seem to market anybody at all. That's why they have a dying fan base.
Yeah,
like literally, like the fan base is all it's like 140.
Again, I mean, there's a shocker, but yeah, you look at some of these guys out there. Why aren't they marketing? I mean,
we've been saying this for years.
Ronald Acuna is probably the best young player out there, and they're not marketing. Of course, it's Atlanta because Atlanta doesn't care about sports. Period.
They do. They just have a weird fandom. No, they do. No, actually, I've been in groups with a lot of Atlanta fans. It's just they
don't care about the Braves.
It's one of I don't think the Braves are the biggest hottest ticket in town.
They won 14 division titles, gone to there, but they don't even show for.
It's just like one of those things where they're not like the passionate fans that you see in certain markets, right? Philly's like maybe over the top, but Detroit's a very passionate, good market. Seattle's always known for being a good, loud fan base.
St. Louis is the best baseball town in America.
St. Louis is a great place. Like, there's all these different places depending on the sport where you have really good fan bases. But like, I'm not but that doesn't just because they're not like front of mind doesn't mean they haven't been a good fan base or they're not passionate about their team. They just I think they're kind of more in the middle. They're not like the crazy one way, but they're not. It's not that they don't care. They're not like Miami.
No.
You know what I mean? Where
Miami only cares about the Dolphins, and that's it.
That's it.
That's
it. And you know what? Let's revise that because they only care about the Dolphins
when they win.
When they win, and then until then, they only care about the 72 team.
Right.
Like everybody's stuck in the past. They're stuck 100 years ago.
72 team and Dan Marino.
Yeah, that's it. That's all they got. I just go, Einhorn is Finkel, motherfucker. Finkel is Einhorn.
Laces out.
Yeah. I just go there because it's like, you ain't got nothing. That's more famous than anything y'all did in the last 30 years.
Right. So it's interesting to go with baseball right now on there. And again, Angels, they lost Trout again for another 6 to 8 weeks. That, of all the contracts out there that are relatively, because we know we're paying for the Miguel Cabrera, they're going to be paying for the Trout because the guy's always getting hurt. His body's breaking down,
right?
And he's barely, I don't even know if he's even 30 years old yet.
That's crazy. We talked about that too, though. That's why I do not like these long 10, 12-year contracts, these crazy things they put out there. It just doesn't make sense to me because you just don't know how this guy's body at that young of an age, I don't care. Oh, we got him at, it's baseball. We got him at 19 years old. If I sign him to a 15-year deal, he's only going to be 32 years old or 34 years old. It's not, That's not bad, you know. People play till they're 44, and it's like, okay, no, because you don't know what this guy's body's gonna do after being a pro, and then if you guys do win, like you say that, then it's extended playing time,
I'm not
and
giving
you're
anybody
getting
a
even more
contract
beat down.
once they're beyond the age of 34. Period.
Right.
Granted, the Fernando Tatis got a contract, a 10-year deal, but he's 22 now.
Right. Well,
Okay.
Hopefully.
Maybe.
Maybe he might be.
Well, I think he is.
I just
But Pujols being only 41, I call bullshit.
Yeah, bullshit.
That son of a bitch is 45.
Yeah. He's my dad. He's my dad. I have to confess. He's 67 years old.
There's certain cats out there that when they left on their certain teams, you just go, "What the hell's wrong?" Granted, he's a Hall of Famer, anyways, but I wanted to see Pujols with St. Louis forever. Growing up on there, Tigers are not very good. I fell in love with baseball. Again, on an age, my first great recollection was that '75 Red Sox team. Fred Lynn should have stayed with Boston for his entire career and would have been a Hall of Famer. I just felt sick when he goes to the Angels, and then we get him at the tail end, and he was terrible.
Right.
On there, but again, Fred Lynn should have stayed in Boston. Carlton Fisk, dude, you're from New England.
Right.
You need to stay in Boston.
Right.
Yastrzemski stayed in Boston on there, so I get Trammell Whitaker stayed with Detroit. I do around there, but it's just those certain. There's only a counter, I understand more. I didn't mind Morris leaving, and I don't even mind Verlander leaving, but it was like just certain players in the leaving. You go, really? Oh, dude, you're in St. Louis. They revere you as a god.
Right.
And you took a big, but St. Louis like, no, we're not giving you a 10-year deal because St. Louis is smart.
Yep. No, I'm with you.
Oakland, first place in the West, and they can't get a damn stadium deal.
I know. It's a mess. It's a hot mess. Well, I'm hoping to see improvements in that. When you get those TV deals and you get out in the front, and the sport gets a little bit more.
They can't get a TV deal because the region is controlled by the Giants. They
They'll-
can't even get a local TV deal.
They're going to end up out of there. The league, because the league's got to be profitable, so
Yes.
they'll have to pull it out of there. So we'll see how that develops. That'll be interesting. We'll be able to break that down a whole lot more. We'll get into this next week. We're getting close. The summer, guys, it's getting warmer out. We get to the summertime where we got other things going, and we take a little hiatus when it's just baseball in the depths of the mid-season. So come hang out with us for the next little bit here as we get through the playoffs, the NHL and the NBA, and then we'll see how it goes this year. It's a weird season with the sports, so but we appreciate you guys, and I won't be gone. We've got other stuff going on, and we'll do the Midsummer Spectacular, and we just fun stuff. We got IWE wrestling stuff that we'll be talking about, and it's cool, man. We'll still be around even when DSR takes that little slight hiatus here coming up in the next month or so, or whatever we're doing here. So I love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you back here next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Thanks for hanging with the technicals. We love you guys.
Peace.
Peace.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip hop rap.